When Thatcher died, I wasn't feeling very bright physically, and I thought the worst of it was we were going to hear from the BBC what a great job she'd done for the nation, and lo and behold, we've been told that. But the things to bear in mind are that Thatcher the warrior, for her class, was beatable. She was often beatable, actually. We had many opportunities to give the Tories a good idea. And if it hadn't been for the Falklands War, which actually smashed my union, helped smash the Seafarers Union, if it hadn't been for that Falklands War, she would have gone down as the most unpopular Prime Minister in the history books. But jingoism, the Daily Mail, Express, the Sun and the rest of the media, ruling class instruments, promoted her, and she went on to give the miners a hiding, and only because of the cowardice of our leadership. That's the only reason Thatcher beat the miners. Let's clear that out of the way. It's our side that let us down. Our leadership. The leadership of the Labour movement, per se, is inadequate to the task. They do not act like warriors for their class. Now, what happened to this warrior in the poll tax was quite simple. They had been given a hiding in the 70s, 72, 74, by organised working class people, and they didn't like it. The crisis for profitability of the ruling class had to be dealt with, and it had to be dealt with by making working class people pay by wage cuts and reducing the social wage. And they are still at that today, the bastards, and we weren't helped much by our Labour leadership when they had reins as well. However, let's talk about the poll tax for a moment, because that came, people said it came out of the blue. Well, actually nothing comes out of the blue. First of all, they started on the Scottish people first, so we had one whole year to see what they were going to do. We had one whole year to see what they were going to do, and remember this, they can cut your electric off, they can cut your gas off, they can cut your phone off. Where was the poll? What were they going to cut off of me? I was without work because I've been blacklisted by, for various reasons as a seafarer, and we will see those lists coming out more and more and more. Something else the bastards were doing to us at the time as well. But what they also did was forgot their main tactic, which was awarded to them by a man called Nicholas Ridley, who came up with this funny old idea that you had to divide to rule, okay? And that's what they did. They came at us, weak unions first. I remember Sir Bill Sirs, crying on the telly, while the rest of us were out picketing, trying to stop steel being moved around and brought into the country. They picked on the weak unions, and they picked on the miners, and then they backed off from the miners. We knew. I'm a member of the Socialist Workers' Party. Got class written through me. That's the one thing I think people need to understand more. Class, class, class. The Socialist Workers' Party run the slogan, don't collect, don't pay. If we had not collected that tax, if the workers had been organised enough not to collect it, it would have been gone, it would have been gone long before. But our confidence is drained, obviously, when the battalions of the miners are beaten. And that confidence, lacking in confidence, didn't mean that we lacked in combativity, because Ridley, divide and rule, divide and rule. My own union actually got paid quite a lot of a wage increase during the miners' strike, and so did many other workers gain wage increases on the back of the miners to keep us out of the fray. Remember that they couldn't beat us all at once, they'd never been able to, but then they forgot their rule of divide and rule, and Nicholas Ridley's plan went to the wall while they came for us all with the poll tax. It's a stupid mistake, and we could see that the ruling class, Thatcher at the head of them, were in difficulty over that. And it was easy for me and 14 million of us to refuse to pay. Then we started to take refusing to pay onto the streets. Now, I wasn't allowed on the London demonstration where we burnt South Africa House. When the police attacked us, we attacked them back. That's actually what happened. You can see the pictures. The police attacked the demonstrators, and lo and behold, we'd had enough of being poked in the chest, and we fought back. Okay, and it frightens them. That's what frightens the ruling class, when we're organised and we're not taking any of their nonsense. So, we assembled in Colchester a meeting of approximately 150 of us at this meeting. You could see the secret policemen in there. We could see them, they had their shoes polished. You know, they're amazingly thick, these people as well. And they were at our meeting, and we knew it, and we cared not a jot. They told us we couldn't march into the High Street, which is where the poll tax office was and the Tory party office was, and we know our own town. Colchester's 20 miles from Colchester, the biggest town near us. We rallied. Some of our organisers are saying, the police says we can't, and the chant went up, it's our streets, we'll march where we like. And we did. And we marched up to the Tory office, and this is what I mean, this is how we engendered the fear in them. That's why Thatcher went, right? It wasn't because many grey suits didn't like her over the exchange rate, or didn't like her over this and that. They loved her. because she was a warrior taking us on. We got to the Tory Club, and it was pretty well destroyed by tuppenny pieces and a few people who were clearly having a drink, and why not? It was a great day. The police attacked us, as they always do, because they are obviously a part, you know, what is the state? It's a body of armed men acting in the interest of a ruling class. I knew that. So I knew what they were going to do. They attacked the demonstrators, and the demonstrators were outraged, absolutely outraged that police came in on horseback. They picked a young girl up by her ponytail and lifted her off the ground. Her boyfriend started the riot because he defended his girlfriend and hit the copper on the elbow with his crash helmet, and he let her go immediately. As soon as he let her go, it was as if we had seen that the police were about to get a beating. And they got one, and they ran away. Actually, they didn't run away, their horses took them away. I was asked to condemn the violence because I had a megaphone, but if anyone's ever had a megaphone, you'll know at the right time it breaks. But I did condemn the violence. I did condemn the violence of the police and the state in what it was doing to ordinary people and what it had been doing. Arrested. 15 of us were, actually 16 were arrested. The chief inspector's son was arrested. He was in the cells for about 3 hours, less than the most of us, and he was gone, disappeared. Never saw him again. He said that was what would happen. My dad's a copper, I won't be charged. The rest of us went through 72 days of a Crown Court hearing, and we were acquitted by a jury, which was did any of us incite a riot? Well, if I could incite a riot, I'd have had a few more. I can tell you that enough. Circumstances were that they had forgotten their golden rule. The divide and rule of the ruling class is very, very important. And without it, they cannot rule over us. Now, Cameron comes in, of course, with his hero, Thatcher. He says that he wants a big society. Thatcher didn't think there was anything such thing as a society. But essentially, they're on the same course, aren't they? Crisis in capitalism, who's going to pay? Well, we know who's going to pay because we're paying now. The bedroom tax, which incidentally, I think could easily light a fuse as well. Easily light a fuse. Because I think that they are pushing people into a corner, and we will come out fighting over this. I can tell you in my town, it's absolute, I can feel it like the poll tax, if you can feel such a thing. I can hear the anger, and I know people are ready to have a go over this. Leadership's important, and in these occasions, when it's necessary to bring them down, when it's necessary to fight them, and it certainly is, it will take leadership. Now, what kind of leadership is that going to be? I've seen what the Labour Party has recently done in terms of calling demonstrations over the council, over the bedroom tax, and it's woefully inadequate. So, leadership can come from us as well. It can come from revolutionaries. It did in the poll tax, that's the truth. Without that leadership of ordinary people, I count myself as ordinary, I'm a revolutionary, yes, and I've had the good fortune to have good people around me who've helped me through that muddle of ideas and have helped me clarify. Class is the most important issue. They understand to divide us is how they rule us. We need to unite. Now, when we do so, it is the most fantastic feeling of liberation. People said to me, all that time in court, all that worry must have been awful for you. The struggle is not awful. The struggle is what keeps you alive. The struggle goes on.